All right. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. My name's Eric, and it's spoiler time, so we're going to go over some spoilers. Doing this live, I have seen a few of the spoilers, but haven't seen all of the spoilers. So I am going to be looking for you guys in the chat to help me pull out every weird interaction you can think of with these spoilers. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and we're going to get started with some speculation, right? Alright, so if you Google Termagoyf in M20, this is the first picture that's going to pop up on Google. Everyone's kind of talking about it. There's been a few YouTube videos on it. I really haven't spoke on it, even though I've seen the picture a day or two ago. But possible Termagoyf reprint in M20. When we look at the picture, when we look at the picture, we do see Termagoyf. It is a 2 mana, 1 green and 1 colorless, and it has the 1 star thing. That's a Termagoyf, right? The card in the picture is a Termagoyf. Whatever Japanese, Korean. I'm not good with Oriental languages. Sorry, I'm not. But whatever language it is, it's still a Termagoyf. And I don't know much, but this says 2019 6-7, 2019 712. That's around about the M20 time. This could be real. What does that mean, right? Is Termagoyf very powerful in current standard? Possibly not. But I think the bigger implications are what does this do for people who own Termagoyfs or have been holding Termagoyfs for a while? Just reprinting them in a core set, that's huge. Another thing that really has me speculating on the fact that, okay, we're getting Termagoyf, we might be getting Termagoyf. We just got the ley lines. We're going to talk about it. If you've seen the thumbnail, right? That's still Overseer in the thumbnail, right? Still Overseer's coming back. So there's some big stuff happening, and I do believe that most of this has a lot to do with getting ready for Standard X or Standard Plus. I'm going to continue to call it Standard X for right now until we know more about it. But that's kind of a real big deal that Wizards is. I'm going to kill the music here. Wizards is preparing really hard to give us this really, really nice set, and what does that mean for the next couple sets? If we get these really powerful, the power creep is huge. We're reprinting some of Modern's finest cards that held Modern as a great format for many years until recently. It has gotten a little convoluted, but a lot of these cards are the exact cards we're seeing in Modern, and you're going to be able to take some of those Modern cards that you already have, bring them to Standard Plus. Termagoyf could mean a lot just for the implications that if they print it, I mean that shows that they're looking for this Standard Plus road, and I think that's something we all need to look at going forward, But so far, I'm pretty excited about what this means for Standard, especially over the next couple sets, not just M20, right? But what's going to be coming in the next couple sets to help fix this Standard Plus rotation, or the Standard X format that's coming? What does that really mean? What are we getting? We could get some great cards just to help that format out, and that's good for me. I like that. All right. Well, anyway, we left off last night talking about the temples. We still don't know if we're getting any more temples than the 5 that they showed us. Space Marine. Man. Welcome, Space Marine. This is who this guy is. It's his name. You can't do nothing about it. Welcome, Space Marine. Toxic by nature. Welcome to the stream, good man. Welcome to the stream. Normally hangs out over MTG Nexus. Him and John from MTG Nexus, great people. The man likes counterspells though, right? Space Marine likes some counterspells. Um, been a while. Yes, it has been a while, sir. Uh, yeah. When you guys can't find me, I'm hanging out somewhere else. Return to Kamigawa. Let's do it, Justin. Let's do it. Obviously, a return to Theros. Well, we got to go back there and get Gideon, right? Like, is that we got to go back and get Gideon, and then he's got to be raised as a planeswalker again because he went back to Theros. I don't know. Yeah, Rocker got his mythic color. He's up there with you and Jizza now. All right, so let's move on to the first spoiler of the day. I've wasted enough time. Vampire of the Dire Moon, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Touch and Lifelink. Vampire, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Touch, Lifelink. Hey, that's tis what it is. Vampires kind of needed this, right? If you want vampires to be an aggressive deck, Baby Nighthawk. Oh man, is that it? Dubbed, dubbed, dubbed. Baby Nighthawk. All right. I like the card. Goes well with the new Sorin. Fits on curve. Will pay you back the life that you lost on turn 2 for playing your Dusk Legion Zealot. We know we're playing 4 Dusk Legion Zealots, right? The card's great. All right, so Vampire of the Dire Moon, pretty sweet. All right, our next card here, another Vampire. Now this is a double black and 1 for a Vampire Rogue. It is a 2/3. It does have flying, and whenever you gain life, you get to put a +1/1 counter on it. Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Pretty cool. I think the acrobatics that we got going on in the picture don't scream vampire for me. More like trapeze artist or a Pink concert. But it's cool. A circus acrobat in life. That makes sense, right? She kills with such fluid grace that even her victims are awed by her performance. Aw. Maybe she should be upside down. Maybe she's upside down in this. I doubt it. Right? Looks like Skylar is going to get a chance to get some colors too. He is. Skylar just joined us as a member. What was it, last week, Skylar? So yeah, you're gonna be going up in the colors there. Alba T. Ross, what's up, Alba? How you doing, sir? That thumbnail, man. That thumbnail got me. I was like, man, is he pointing that at me? Arrow, Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Like, does this have a place? If there's a vampire deck, I mean, you get separate life gain triggers from each creature with lifelink, right? Is that how that would work? Or would that be one instance of gaining life? Access to more punts. That's right, more punts. The best emoji I've made so far is the pun emoji. Orzhov life gain. Well, you do good things there, Space Marine. Take care, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Drawn from Dreams. This card. This is a Space Marine card right here. He's all about some control. All right, 4 mana dig through time. Anyone? Anybody pay 4 mana for a dig through time? How about if you had a Kefnet out and you hit this and you just paid double blue? Would that feel good? Right? Is that dig through time? Dig through time, right? Double blue with Kefnet, and then you still have it in your hand. You have to ferry out. This is now instant speed. Yeah. Okay, so let me read the card, alright? 2 and double blue, sorcery speed. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Alright, it is sorcery. It is a sorcery. That's huge. Sorcery is... it's still dig through time, though. Draw from Dreams is sorcery speed. Get around Narset is nice. This is true. It does get around Narset. 7 cards is a long way to go, and if you're playing some type of combo deck, this'll find you your parts. Like, this'll find you your parts better than almost anything. 7 cards is deep. When you're digging and you need an answer, this will get deep. Um, there's a thick joke in there. I ain't gonna touch it. Simic Nexus will love this or anything with reclamation. Yeah, because you can cast it on your turn, then you use reclamation to untap, and then you got access to so much more. If you're running Little Teferi, this is all instant speed anyway, and then at that point it's bonkers. Like that's just crazy. Um, from a sea of infinite possibilities, our choices create the future. Some string theory crap. You forgot about Nexus? Well, yeah, it's still a card, right? So you dig. All right, so you pay 4 mana. You dig 7 cards deep. Find a Nexus. Untap with Reclamation. Cast Nexus. Oh man, can we just ban this card now? Just ban it now. All right, whatever. Raise the Alarm is back. Raise the Alarm, 1 and 1 white, instant speed. Create 2/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Divine Visitation says create 2/4/4 angels. That's what it said. That's what it says. Um, there's probably a spot for this card, right? Like every time it's been in standard, there's always some type of little token deck or some deck that can get some value off some creatures entering the battlefield or something. It's well priced. It's just a well printed card. So naturally, it made the reprint list. It's going to be in standard. Instant speed. They could have 2/1/1 white creature token soldiers at any moment. That's yep. It's back. There's a lot of implications for that, though, right? So I mean, it's not quite. No, it's nowhere near Lingering Souls, but whatever. Woodland Champion. Here's another new card. Elf Scout. When 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many 1/1 counters on Woodland Champion. It's a 2/2 for 2. It's an Elf Scout, so Elf is not bad. Green White already likes this. I mean, you can play this on whatever turn, and make. Oh man, as soon as you start making tokens, this will get out of hand so quick. I'm thinking of Imara turning sideways, being able to play a Danto's Vanguard behind this. I mean, turn 3, you could play this and then swing with Imara and play an Adanto's Vanguard. Or not Adanto's Vanguard, but Adanto the First Fort. Legion. Oh my goodness. I can't think of the card. The 1 mana white enchantment that creates 1. Swing with 3. It's Adanto the First Fort when you flip it. Legion's Landing. Oh my goodness. Jeez. So yeah, there's just a ton of cards you could get with this. Plus you can play it on 2 and then on turn 3, like Land of War on 1, turn 2. Like you could play this. The Raise the Alarm gives this 2+1/1 counters. There's a lot of value there. I mean, I was just talking about some way to get some value off creatures entering the battlefield with Legion's Landing or with Raise the Alarm, and that card works. Elvish Reclaimer, 1 mana 1/2. I like it already. It's an Elf Warrior. Fits in the Elf deck. Fits in the Warriors deck. Seems like we've got a lot of Elves floating around. So those of you that like tribal decks, good parts for it. Again, this will add good staples to tribal decks in Standard X moving forward. So I like all the tribal cards being printed. Elvish Reclaimer gets +2/+2 as long as there are 3 or more land cards in your graveyard. It's also got the ability to pay 2 and tap it and sacrifice a land, and then you get to go search your library for a land, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. So that's right, you can trade your basics out for non-basic lands. They do enter tap, but you can do this at any time. So you can do this at the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, I've got more blue than I need, but I need a red source. I don't know what colors we're playing there. Teamer, right? I got more blue than I need, but I need a red source. I'm going to get rid of this blue and go get a red or whatever. Or now it's time to go get my special land because we have the city's blessing. We'll get Arch of Roska or something like that, and bam, you can just do things like that. That's Elvish Reclaimer. There's some value here. You're just glad you finished with the counters event on Arena. Oh my goodness, I played around with that event a little bit, and I just threw a Merfolk deck together. I was like, this puts counters on things. So it seemed to be what everyone else was doing was Merfolk, but whatever. Um, yeah, Elvish Reclaimer, not bad. Will be a decent elf staple for a while. Um, Elvish Reclaimer with Evolving Wilds, maybe. Okay, well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of ways to throw lands in your graveyard. I mean, this definitely goes in the deck with like Living Twister or something like that, because you're going to be able to get lands in your graveyard that way. I mean, we can still surveil lands into our graveyard. So, I mean, there's a number of ways to get lands into the graveyard. So, Elvish Reclaimer, not bad. Diamond Knight, we don't have the picture for this one, and that hurts me. But this is Vigilant. As Diamond Knight enters the battlefield, choose a color. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen color, put a 1/1 counter on Diamond Knight. It's a 3 mana 1/1. Just pick your color and start casting spells, and you have this Vigilant creature. I kind of wish it was Gain of Life, put a +1/1 counter. Really, I mean, that or at least make it a 2/2. It just dies so easy. So easy. Alright, this next couple cards they're all a set. You have the Renowned Weaponsmith. You guys probably remember that from quite some time in the past. One blue, one colorless. You can pay, or you can tap him, and he'll add 2 generic mana to your, or 2 colorless mana to your mana pool, and you can only spend that to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. You can also pay 1 blue and tap him and search your library for a card named Heartpiercer Bow or Vial of Dragonfire. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. At face value, this is a 1/3 for 2 that has tap, add 2 colorless mana that can only be spent on artifacts and artifact abilities. Most of the time, you're not really going to be worrying about that second effect, but just in case you are, let's jump up here and look at Heartpiercer Bow and Vial of Dragonfire. Heartpiercer Bow is not the worst thing in the world, not exactly the equipment I'm looking for. I'm wanting some swords or something, but it's an equipment and it's fairly cheap, and it also has that all-important equip cost 1, right? Why is equip cost 1? Because there's a lot of things out there that will reduce equip cost by 1. So that makes equipping it free. So that part's not that bad. However, like, you're not going to be able to do shenanigans with Heartpiercer Bow by moving it around from place to place on your different characters. So, or on your different characters, different creatures. So, whenever equipped creature attacks, Heartpiercer Bow deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. So, you swing, it pings something, so that's not going to be blocking. Just not a horrible equipment, but it's also not the greatest equipment. Hey, I swing at you, and we take out that Land of Werewolves. It is cheap enough that you can put it on a 2-drop on turn 3 and start getting in. It's cheap enough to be played in the early turns, and that alone is something that you could say about Heartpiercer Bow. But for the most part, this is not really the equipment that's going to break standard for sure, and I'm pretty sure it got 0 play the last time it was in standard. Veil of Dragonfire, 2 mana, and you for just an artifact, and you can pay 2 mana and tap and sacrifice it. It deals 2 damage to target creature. So this is a 4 mana shock on an artifact. You do get the luxury of having a 2 mana artifact enter the battlefield and leave the battlefield for that 4 mana. It is an artifact that can sack itself, if that means anything. So, like, these are the pluses of it, but for the real basics of it, this is a 4 mana shock that can be played in any color. Not normally what you're looking for, right? It is only to target creatures, so necessarily not even a shock. Like, you can't even finish somebody off with this. So I'm not big on the Veil of Dragonfire, and think the better of the two is the Heartpiercer Bow. But again, not real big on it either. You played Simic Ramp, played counters, adapt value, ended up ultimating Nissa with Evo Sage out. It seems mean. You're just mean to your opponents. Uh, we got Ogre Siegebreaker here. This is a 4 mana, 4/3. Really wish it had haste on it, right? So this is two and Rakdos colors, so two red and a black, gets you a 4/3 Ogre Berserker that has the ability pay two, a red and a black, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Mm, I ain't seeing it, guys. I'm Ogre Siegebreaker's not all that for me. Card's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the best either. Okay, locking it in. Looks like Tamer is definitely going to be our elemental colors. Loktar Ogar. Hello to you too, Loktar. Hey, I was for the Horde. Okay, for the Horde. Ah, the days of World of Warcraft. Rakdos' finisher just doesn't roll off the tongue. Okay. Um, Omnath, Locus of the Royal. So the Royal is Zendikar, right? Like pretty much everything in Zendikar is the Royal. It's the land itself and how it's constantly moving, and that's the Royal. So this is the Locust of the Royal, right? Living in between the spaces and whatever. It's a legendary elemental. 4 mana, 3/3. Teamer colors and one. Um, it's fairly hard to cast, but since we can probably be based green, we can probably make whatever color we want. This probably isn't going to be that hard to cast. That being said, Omnath, Locus of the Royals, got some abilities. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target. Love that. Any target equal to the number of elementals you control. All right, big elemental finisher. Like I said, we're definitely looking at Teamer for our elementals deck. But spoilers have been kind of pointing us in that direction anyway, right? Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. So the later the game gets, the better this guy gets, right? So we're looking at elementals being some type of elemental ramp deck anyway. This thing's going to just grow your elementals. Your elementals are going to get bigger and bigger. You're going to be drawing cards. You're going to be casting spells. You're going to be doing stuff. And like if you've got 8 lands, it's great. It's great, right? Also, I mean, this is also a huge finisher. Maybe you create a bunch of elementals. You have one of these out. You're getting one bigger, and then you know what? You end up drawing another one. You just play it anyway for a finisher, right? Omnath looks like it's probably the real deal, and I expect it to at least see play in the elemental deck. Assuming the elemental deck does stay Teamer and doesn't like refine down to just Simic or even Gruul, I expect I expect Omnath to get some play, and maybe even if the deck does go to Gruul or Simic, that we still get those decks just barely splashing the third color just for Omnath. So it looks good. I think it'll get play. Things looks like it came from a Goosebumps book, right? Goosebumps. I like Goosebumps. All right, so next here we've got hardcover. This is an aura, an enchantment. 1 mana for a blue enchantment. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 and has tap loot. Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. So you can make any of your creatures into a looter by just putting this 1 mana enchantment on them. It does get +0/+2. Draw a card, then discard a card. Doesn't seem too bad. If you had some way to do damage as you as you drew a card, or if you had some way to get some benefit off of doing drawing card, discard a card that would untap a creature, that would be absolutely broken. So I will be looking for that over the next couple seasons, and just kind of remembering that hardcover is floating around in the meta. Until we finally get what we need for it. Find a home in the walls deck, maybe. Ooh, maybe that's not horrible. Um, I mean, I don't see a lot of other good uses currently coming to mind. You could use this to throw lands in the graveyard in your teamer deck, but I doubt you've got room for that in that deck. Next is probably the cutest picture they've printed in a while. Damn you wizards for that. That puppy's cute. We've got a ferocious pup here. It's a wolf. It's a 0/1, but when it enters the battlefield, create a 0 or a 2/2 green wolf creature token. That's right. Mommy is with it. 2/2 green wolf creature token. So you do get a 2/3 worth of power spread over two different bodies. Granted, one of them's a 0/1. So the wolf gets out there and he gets a boot to the face because he's just a chump blocker, but there is still the 3/3. That being said, it is a wolf entering the battlefield. It will create another wolf that'll enter the battlefield. So if you've got some wolf matters things going on, the pup's pretty decent. Like I don't think the pup's horrible at all. Love the art though. Love the art. The strongest pack has the fiercest pups. Ah, damn you wizards! Damn you. Magic is supposed to be, dragons and demons and wolves with glowing eyes, and damn puppy. Um, we get a 4 and 1 red for a dragon. Dragon's not real special. All right, I'm not paying 5 mana for a 3/3. Technically, you're not paying 5 mana for a 3/3 because when it enters the battlefield, you're going to make a couple treasures. You're going to get 2 of that mana back. You'll be able to use it on something else. So, hey, there you go, right? So you do get 5 mana or a 3 mana 3/3 flying dragon. Ravenous Dragon. What does it mean? Like, Pirate's Pillage on it would have been good, right? 5 mana, you get a 3/3, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and then, make 2 treasures. That would have been good. You love that treasure is evergreen now. It should have been clues, okay? You should have been able to find clues. Clues should have been evergreen. I also think the word historic should have been evergreen. I think that we should have continued to have like sagas, like okay, we found the great book of this new plane, right, or whatever, and it tells the saga of these people who have lived here, right? I think sagas could have been evergreen. Treasures are better than clues. What? Treasures are better than clues. Man, I don't know how to take that statement. Agent of Treachery, 7 mana. Oh my goodness, 7 mana for a 2/3 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent. Whoa, hold on. All right, so 7 mana for a takeover. All right, a mind control here, like some control magic. Only when you have a treasure cove out, right? Otherwise, clues just draw cards, man. And drawing cards is one of the most powerful things in the world, or in our world, Magic the Gathering. So, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, so you've already taken some stuff that didn't belong to you, you get to draw 3 more cards. Wow. All right, so if you own 3 or more permanents or you gain control of 3 more permanents you don't own, you get to draw 3 cards at the beginning of your end step. Every turn. Every turn. Oh my goodness. It's nice that clues draw cards, but treasures are free mana and a free sack outlet. Yeah, I mean, if you like, I haven't had much use of like whenever you sack a treasure. Like Captain Lannery Storm's the big one for that. But yes, it is. I'm not going to continue on treasures versus clues, but treasures being evergreen is really nice. This card might have some merit. I hate that it's 7 mana. I doubt it's going to get a lot of play, but you might see this as one of in some strange decks. The ramp deck, the Simic Yoink deck. Simic Yoink, yeah, there you go. Simic Yoink is Loving Agent. Yeah, Simic Yoink is That could probably get away with this because it's a Simic ramp deck. It's trying to cast some huge spells anyway. It's very often that you'll see it cast Mass Manipulation for 2 or even 3, which requires a ridiculous amount of mana. It's like what, 10 mana for to cast it for 3. So Agent of Treachery might not be out of the question. Also, if you get to cast, um, Entrancing Melody early in the game, then a Mass Manipulation mid game, and then cast this after the Mass Manipulation, you have 3 permanents that don't belong to you. That's going to be some advantage. Simic, you may like this. You may be onto something there, Skylar. Revolt Outlet. There you go. There you go. You can sack a clue too, guys. Like clues sack themselves too. One costs mana, one makes mana. We're gonna stay on this argument forever. All right, Cavalier of Night. Now this is a 5 mana knight. Triple black and 2 generic for an elemental knight. That's right, a black elemental. It's an elemental knight. Wow. It's a 4/5 with lifelink. It's a 4/5 with lifelink. When Cavalier of Night enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Okay, so it enters the battlefield, sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target creature an opponent controls. That's pretty decent. But it's got another ability. Okay, it gets better. When Cavalier of Night dies, return target creature you control and convert a mana cost 3 or less from the graveyard straight to the battlefield. That's right. Do not go to the hand. Do not go to exile. Straight to the battlefield. Go. That's not bad. So, like, this card says you better exile this or things are going to happen. Enters the battlefield. You eat, some. Let's say we're in mono black, right? You eat some little 1/1 that has Death Touch, Lifelink, Vampire that you happen to be playing. Kill something else, and then when they finally deal with it, you go get back something else. That seems pretty decent. That seems good. I'm all in on this. I do wish it would have been a Vampire Knight though. I wanted to see more Vampire Knights, but the Elemental Knight's pretty sweet. So I'm not disappointed in this card. I think the card's fair. It's got some really broken abilities on it. Plus, it's got lifelink. It's not bad. It's not a bad card. How much play does it get? It's a 5 drop. That card's got to be really good to get play in the 5 converted mana cost spot. I mean, you're facing off against Teferi, Sarkhan, things like that. So I mean, maybe not. We'll see. Here's one that some of you are going to absolutely love. For those of you that have been on the Spirit train, Spirit Pirate here, 1 mana 1/1, flash flying. Wait for it. Got those 3 magic words. Pay 3 and 1 blue. Draw a card. That's it. No, you don't have to discard. No, you don't have to mill. You don't have to do any of that other stuff. Instant speed. Whenever you get ready to, as many times as you want to per turn, as long as you got the mana for it. Just start tapping mana, drawing cards. I mean, you don't even have to worry about summoning sickness, right? So for 5 mana, you can play this, right? You top deck this on turn 5 or whatever. End of turn, you play this and then activate its ability all at the same time. Like, that is pretty sweet, okay? This card's got some stuff. What's the flavor text say? Any ship that sails on these mean seas for long is bound to pick up a ghost or two. Any ship that sails on these mean seas for long is bound to pick up a ghost or two. Admiral Beckett Brass. So this is Admiral Brass saying, of course we've got a ghost. I've been on these seas forever. We got a couple ghosts. Don't worry about it. It's still a pirate. It is a pirate, which also means it doesn't die to fiery cannonade. point that out, right? Not bad. I think this probably finds some play somewhere. It's going to be a limited all-star. Like this is going to be the like this is a bomb right here. Like 1 mana, 1/1 flying flash. Can't do much about it. I'm going to use it to start refilling my hand. I'm going to play more of my deck than you get to play of yours. I win. Ha ha. Normally, that's how that's supposed to work, right? Ixalan is the Neverland of Magic, right? You got ghosts and pirates and dinosaurs. And you're right, it is, isn't it? All right, here we've got a 5 mana enchantment, Wolfkin Bond, 4 and a green. Will get you an enchant creature aura that when it enters the battlefield, you get to make a 2/2 green wolf creature token, and the enchanted creature gets, wolf power, +2/+2. Again, if you got some way to get some benefit from a wolf entering the battlefield, it might not be the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's going to get a ton of play, though. Maybe not even for limited. I get that you are buffing a dude and making a body. That's not very bad. It's just really hard for me to want to cast enchantments. I've had way too many creatures removed with enchantment on the stack, right? Alright, so Steel Overseer, right? Artifact creature construct. You can tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature you control. The world is already run by all manner of machines. One day, they'll remind us of that fact. Yep. Steel Overseer. Scary thing. Why don't I have a picture? No image available. That's so. Oh no, what have I done? Go back. I do not want to do this. Really wanted to pick Steel Overseer, but I guess I could just Google it. The card's big in Modern, right? Like Steel Overseer is no joke. We've seen it in a lot of things in the past. Back when it was in Standard, it was big. It was part of the Tempered Steel deck. Tempered Steel made it into Modern, and then later became what we now know as Affinity. Steel Overseer is a really important part to those decks as far as like just giving you buku of +1/1 counters across a board. What does it mean for Standard? I don't really know, right? Like, as of right now, it doesn't mean a whole lot for Standard, right? Like, okay, so maybe you get some Psi Master Thopterus thing going on, you start casting some stuff, you start making, some artifacts, some Thopters, you've got some other ways to make some Thopters, you start using Steel Overseer to make those Thopters bigger. Yeah, that's a pretty decent ceiling for Steel Overseer in Standard right now. And we may see, some decks come around that, but as of right now, I just don't see us having enough artifacts that are really worth like building these Steel Overseer decks. But that doesn't mean that that it won't be good in Standard Plus. We know that we just left Kaladesh, which was basically like our New Age Mirrodin. It was about as disastrous as Mirrodin with the mechanics. You had Phyrexian mana versus, or new Phyrexian mana versus energy. So I mean, they were about the same. Still Overseer, there might be some value in Standard, but as of right now, I don't think we currently have enough artifacts to really push it. The Healy from War of the Spark. There you go. All right, so that is another way right there. All right, so Trans Eagle has got another way to make some Thopters, and Thopters are really like what comes to my mind when I'm thinking of Standard and Steel Overseer. Like, you don't really have a lot of ways to just get tons of artifacts except for Saheeli and Psi. That being said, Saheeli and Psi might be enough, right? Like, there may just be enough with Saheeli and Psi. You get those out, you start going ham with all of your different variations of eggs, and I mean we've got Mox Amber, things like that. So maybe you're also running like Karn in that deck or something like that. So there's servos from Saheeli. You're right. They are servos. Still artifacts though, and that's what's important. Man, why doesn't Saheeli make Thopters? That is, Saheeli should have made Thopters. The new Karn, the new Karn that Dovin, the Corset Tez. That's right. All right, so we've got a couple ways to make some artifact creatures. None of them are really smooth though, right? Like you're not doing some affinity stuff like turn one artifact land, pay 2 life. I don't know. It's just not. It's not as powerful as it is in modern. But the card is going to be in standard. The card is going to be in standard plus or standard X, whatever it is we're going to call it. The card is going to be there. So that means that I'm preaching to the choir. I want to know why. You want to know why she doesn't make Thopters? For real, she should make Thopters. She should make that, or the servos should be little baby dinosaurs because she's been hanging out with Watley. That's how I feel about it. All right, I'm going to move on. Still Overseer in standard now. Beware. Hey, Wolves Matter card. What? We've had cards like this in the past, almost exactly like this in the past. But this one's a little different. Costs a little bit more. Got a little bit more of a body. So let's talk about Nightpack Ambusher here. 2 and double green for a wolf. 4/4 wolf at that. That has flash. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. And at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf. All right. More Tulsamere toys. Yay! That's right. More Tulsamere toys. So you get to do a bunch of cool stuff. I want to say that Tulsamere says that when a wolf enters the battlefield, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. So you flash this in. It's not legendary. You can have one already on the battlefield, right? They have that new pup. Yeah, we were just talking about the pup just a moment ago. The pup's on turn 3. You can play this on turn 4. Tulsamere is turn 5. Then you start playing more Nightpack Ambushers. Is that strong enough, right? Yeah, and we gain 3 life for Wolf entering the battlefield. Well, then the pup has gained 6 life. That's pretty good. Is it a May? I don't have to have my pup fight something that's going to die, does it? Like, I can choose to have it fight, right? So the wolf shows up, and Tulsamere's like, get him! And Tulsamere just, never mind. Moving on. In the past, we had this. We had the wolf decks. We had probably more wolf toys than we're going to have anytime in the near future. The new Arlen that doesn't do anything now does something. Right? Yeah, that's right. The new Arlen cares about wolves, doesn't she? Arlen always cares about wolves. She's a werewolf. Anyway, the card's not horrible. It's not horrible. It is not a May. Tulsamere says that you have to make... Wow. Oh yeah, the possible Tarmogoyf reprint. I was trying to find more information on it, but who knows. How do you spell Tulsamere? It's got to be close, right? Did I get close enough? Look at that. That's the old Tulsamere. Tulsamere, Friend of Wolves. Here we go. When Tulsamere, Friend of Wolves enters the battlefield, create Voja, Friend of Elves, a legendary green wolf, whatever. When a wolf enters the battlefield, gain 3 life, and that creature, that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. You can also have it fight 0 creatures you don't control. So it's not a May, but it's a May. So it is still a May. You don't have to have it fight. I'll choose to have it fight 0 creatures. All right. You scared me there, thinking that every wolf was going to come in and have to fight that Carnage Tyrant. Well, that wouldn't work anyway because hexproof. But you get what I'm saying, right? That would be bad. That would make Tulsamere really bad. Every 2/2 I get, fight your 4/4. Let's do this. Yeah. Fight up to 1 creature. The up to is the big part, right? They started printing that on on Planeswalker cards was the first place I seen the wording of up to, and that was because you wanted to still be able to plus your Planeswalker. So up to one target creature gets -1/-1. So if there's no creatures, you can still uptick it, right? Like because you don't have a target. So not bad. Um, this wolf's a little bigger than most of the wolves we've seen, so it might get some play. I'm gonna say this: there's enough of you out there that had tried so hard. Bless your souls, because I know the Wolves decks never really took off, but you had some games where you just did some crazy stuff. I did play with a Huntmaster of Fells deck, but then again, it was a Naya deck that had Resplendent Angel and was bouncing stuff and was casting stuff at instant speed. It was silly. But I've had some fun with elves in the past, and I know that there's a lot of, or wolves in the past. I know that there's a lot of you that like wolves enough. You're going to try to put this deck together. So, right on. Um, Sideboard MTG, is that correct? I know the wording was different on the spoiled card than the actual card. What's he made an announcement? This wolf having flash makes a fight ability really sweet though, and it pumps Volja. You are correct. Um, if you had enough mana, right, you could technically cast Tulsimir with the Tulsimir trigger on the stack, flash this in, this would fight something, and then Volja would come in as a 4/4 as well. I think Volja's a 3/3, and then it would fight. Tulsimir, Friend of Elves. Let's. Is there other wording to this card? Friend of Wolves. I have to call Tulsimir Friend of Elves, right? Let's pull up this one. And you may have that creature fight up to one target creature. All right, so I think this was the original printing. The original printing said you may have that creature fight up to one target creature an opponent controls. The other printing we've seen says, and that creature fights up to one target creature you don't control. Either one sounds like it's the same thing to me. They just had this either may and an up to in there, so I really don't think it's that bad. But again, more Tulsimir stuff. Sure, right? I'll take it. But yeah, the wolf having flash is a pretty big deal. I like it. Next up, we've got Manifold Key. All right. The wording issue was a translation problem that was set straight on the actual card. Gotcha. Kind of like the wording on Hostage Taker. Like if you own original Hostage Takers, their wording's different. Hostage Taker had to be revamped because you could technically just have it target itself, and I don't know. Something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, Manifold Key, 1 mana. It's got a couple abilities. Artifact, it's a key, right? So clearly it needs to open something, turn something on, right? Some of the big keys we've had in the past: Voltaic Key, Key to the City, things like that. First ability, kind of like Voltaic Key. You can pay 1, tap it, untap another target artifact. Second ability is more like Key to the City. Pay 3, tap it, target creature can't be blocked this turn. So no, that's not targeting your opponent's creatures. That creature can't block. No, you target your creature and it just can't be blocked, period. So you're guaranteed to get through. It's a key. Like I don't really have anything really bad to say about it. It's cool that we'll have a key around. Pay 1, tap, and untap another target artifact. There's some restrictions there. Like they did put untap another target artifact in there, so there's no like shenanigans you can do with tap, pay 1, untap, like, and then you get some kind of something out of tapping and untapping artifacts. Which again, guys, I'm looking at all these spoilers as the long term with this standard X coming up, or standard plus, and we're gonna have a lot to worry about, and that also means that future sets are going to hit into that. And if if Arena is going to be pushed that hard, then we have to Think about that. Flavor text for you guys: locks want to be open, and treasure wants to be free. Oh, that's some rogue thinking right there. Um, Goes well with Gilded Lotus, right? Okay, so I like where you're going with this, Sir Eccles. Sir Eccles says, goes well with Gilded Lotus. He plays his Gilded Lotus, taps his Gilded Lotus for 3 mana, pays 1 mana, taps this, untaps his Gilded Lotus. So he's netted 2 mana off of it, taps his Gilded Lotus again. He now has 5 mana. That means Gilded Lotus was a free play. So you can turn 5, play Gilded Lotus, then do this, and you still have 5 mana with 2 taps of Gilded Lotus, so that 5 mana can be 2 of one color and 3 of another color. Yeah, Sir Eccles, that's probably not bad. Like you could have a turn 5 where you played Lotus, untapped Lotus, tap Lotus again, and played Teferi. Like you could have some, like, I don't know, stupid turns. Manifold Key in the format, going to be a thing in some deck somewhere. It's also an artifact we can cast. We don't have a lot of 1 mana artifacts right now, so that's worth looking at. Shifting Ceratops. Why'd they make it a Triceratops if they didn't call it Shifting Triceratops? Didn't have to have 3 horns, right? Whatever. This card looks pretty good, guys. 2 and double green for a dinosaur that's a 5/4 and has a lot of words on it. Alright, let's start with this first line here. This spell can't be countered. Okay, alright, can't be countered. Protection from blue. Okay. Pay 1 green, and it will gain your choice of reach, trample, or haste until end of turn. So you could technically give it haste and trample. You could give it, I mean, I don't think you want trample and reach on the same turn. But yeah, I doubt you even want haste and reach on the same turn. So it's got both offensive and defensive capability. Kind of like this card. Carney T Light. Baby T. Alright. I mean, hexproof is really important on Carnage Tyrant, but I also like the fact that this can't be countered. I mean, it's just a good way to get in there against those blue mages. Also, the reach is really, really important, right? So this having protection from blue means that for 1 green mana, the Drake's decks are just done. Done. This puts an end to Drake's decks. Alright, for those of you that are new to Magic the Gathering and you're not really used to protection, this creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything blue. That means you can put this in front of a Tempest Djinn that has 12 power and it ain't gonna matter, right? Because you cannot kill it. It will not receive damage. Protection and trample. Protection and trample, that's a little bit different. I actually need to look up that ruling because it's been a while since I had it. But I want to say that was a silly ruling as well, because the way trample damage is worded, it had something to do with you have to apply lethal damage to the creature. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to say that that this protects from a lot more than it just looks like right off the bat. So since this will never receive damage from Enigma Drakes, Crackling Drakes, Tempest Djinns, because it'll never receive damage from those, trample still tramples over. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of trample and death touch, where you only have to deal 1 point of damage because you've dealt lethal damage, and then even if it's indestructible, you still only have to deal 1, I think. Anyway, the important part is you just get to stop the Drake's decks with this card. If you look at it, it even blocks the Phoenixes. Yeah, you would still have to apply the damage to the creature first. Okay. The big one here is it just doesn't die to the Drakes. It also blocks the not Rekindling Phoenixes, but it blocks the Arclight Phoenixes as well. So not a bad card. Not a bad card. Anyway, Shifting Ceratops. I think this will probably get a little play as well. Also, turn 2 Marauding Raptor. Turn 3 this. That's not bad. If you turn 1 Atlanta War Elf, then you still have mana open to give it haste. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, Cerulean Drake. Back to the protection aspect. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 flyer that has protection from red. Also has Sacrifice Cerulean Drake. Counter target spell that targets you. Okay, I'll take it. I would have took Flash, right? Give me Flash on top of this for 2 mana. But protection from red's pretty good. Protection from red means that it can't have anything that's red deal damage to it. Protects it from board sweepers, protects it from Goblin Chain Whirler. It can block Goblin Chain Whirler, doesn't die, right? You guess Drakes could play Crash Through. It's possible they could. But Cerulean Drake, protection from red, same thing we talked about with protection on all the other ones. This card's probably playable. I mean, are we seeing more mono blue toys pop out? I don't know. Icon of Ancestry. Here we get a 3 mana artifact that's it's an Anthem. So 3 mana, the general price that you would pay for an Anthem. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1. You could also just pay 3 mana and tap it and look at the top 3 cards of your library, and you can reveal a creature of that creature type that you called. Put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. And is it random order? Yeah, random order. So, not bad. It's an Anthem that lets you draw cards in a tribal deck. Is Madness here? Like, this is a tribal, like this is a big card for tribal, right? So yeah. Also blocks Drakes. Oh, you're right. Cerulean Drake also blocks the red Drakes because protection from red. You're great there, Pop Culture Guru. Thank you. You love color hosing cards that are almost always great sideboard options for decks that don't have answers otherwise. Yes, and I believe that if a card is going to be printed like that as a color hose, then it should be dominant, right? Like, it should be, you're blue, I've got this thing that says protection from blue, you should have very, very few ways of making me get rid of it. And I do think that you should have some way to get rid of it, right? Maybe we Dragon's Veil, right? A Vial of Dragon's Flame or whatever, so that we can colorlessly do 2 damage to something. I don't know. But I do think that if you're going to have cards that are just naturally built to hose a different deck or hose a deck of a different color, then those cards should be almost absolute to the point where you better hit yours before I hit mine. I don't know. Maybe that would be bad magic. I don't know. Search for Azcanta for creature decks. That is a great way to look at this. Icon of Ancestry is search for Azcanta for a creature deck. Does have to be a tribal deck, or you can't really play it, but search for Azcanta, you don't really play in a lot of creature heavy decks, right? You need some spells, or you're not going to get much out of it, right? Merfolk might want this. Merfolk may want this. You're right. Merfolk may want this. Vampires may want this. Yeah, actually, I'd probably want this in Vampires if I didn't go the vampire route where you're actually playing all the 2-for-1 vampires, which are not actually vampire cards, where you're playing the Feast, where you just make 3 Call the Feast, something like that. Yeah, make 3 vampires. Like, if you're not playing that version where you're making a bunch of vampire tokens, then the pay 3 tap this is great. But even if you're making a bunch of tokens, Vampires getting +1/+1 still pretty good, and even in that tokens deck you are going to run a lot of creatures, so I don't know. It just depends on how many Queen's Commissions and the Feast. Depends on how much of those are in the Vampire deck. But yeah, this makes into a lot of tribal decks. All tribal decks want this, especially Elementals. Yes, Elementals will probably want this. How late are you? Madness, we're coming up on the last couple right now. And I was just talking about you because we're talking about this tribal card that gives all creatures +1/+1, and it's got a it's been put as search for Esconta for creature decks, for tribal decks. Pay 3, tap it, and go find or reveal the top 3 cards of your library, and you can get a creature that you chose, a creature of the chosen type. Madness heard his name, right? Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Right. Time for a new favorite card. In-step, search for future creature. Also buffs your opponent's creatures if they are of the same type. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. I did not notice that this is a slivers buff. All slivers get it. Okay, all right, whatever. That's actually worth noting. So if there is one tribal deck that gets really, really powerful, that tribal deck will not want this in the mirror, or do they? I don't know. I don't know. All right, next we do have another artifact here. This is Diviner's Chest. 4 mana for the Diviner's Chest. You can activate this ability whenever you get ready to, as long as it's at sorcery speed. So it's just sorcery speed. I say you can activate it whenever you get ready to, but it's just there. Activate it. Choose a card name and then reveal the top card of your library. If it has the chosen name, sacrifice Diviner's Chest and draw 3 cards. Activate this ability only when you can cast a sorcery. I need more. Something's not right about that wording, right? Something is not right about that wording. Oracle text. Choose a card name and then reveal the top card of your library. If the card is of the chosen name, activate this ability only when you can cast a sorcery. So what's to stop me from saying, okay, use Diviner's Chest, look at the top card. Oh, I'm going to call Forest. Look at oh, it's an island. Okay, put it back. All right. Activate Diviner's Chest. I'm going to call Island. It's an island. What? Like, done with Explorer? From what I see, yeah, Scrylands are back. Yeah, Scrylands. You'll have to go back in the video because you think we already passed the 4 mana Dino and the Wolf Pup and the Wolf Lord. We did. We passed all of those things. Oh, you have to tap it? Where does it say tap it? Choose a card name and then reveal the top card of your library. If this card has a... I see? Oh, okay. Tapping makes it so much more. This is just horrible that we don't see that. All right. It haunts me every time I close my eyes. All right. Well, if you've got to tap it, that makes so much more sense because I was thinking that, yeah, that was stupid. Couple cards left here. It's a field of lotuses, right? You pay 1, tap on the picture on Mythic. Okay, so it does say tap. If you wasn't getting your rear-ended handed to you by the Wolf Heartless in the Frozen World, what? You'd have made it sooner. Pay 1 and tap. Thanks, Eagle. All right, so the picture of the Russian card has a tap symbol. Awesome. All right, so for anyone else, Diviner's Chest does say pay 1 and tap it. All right. Pay 1 and tap it. So you're not doing this multiple times. Therefore, Scrylands, Explore, all of those mechanics that let you surveil, all of those things that let you look at the top card of your library. I mean, so that means that you can. Do you want to pay 4 mana for this though? Maybe. I mean, if I'm going to thought erasure you and then I know my top card, I can just call my top card, pay 1, activate this on turn whatever. It seems okay. It seems okay. Seems like you need to have other things going on, though. I don't know. Lotus Field. That's right. We get a field of lotuses. This is a rare land with hexproof Lotus Field enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice 2 lands. It does have tap, add 3 mana of any one color. Alright. This land helps turn on the second elf, or the 1/2 elf. It does. Okay, so I didn't want to mention that earlier when we were talking about the elf and talking about ways to get lands in the graveyard. I didn't want to talk about this earlier, but this is one of the cards on my thumbnail there. Dead center. Lotus Field, right? Anyway, this is the card's pretty decent, especially if you want to get some stuff in the graveyard. 3 mana of any one color is pretty decent. This is also going to be easy to play in. This is going to be easy to play in some decks that are like one color, like monocolored decks, mono green, things like that. Those are going to be really like all about the Lotus Field, I think. Maybe you just don't even need it, but if there is any use in putting some stuff into the graveyard, any lands into the graveyard, then Lotus Field is going to be pretty decent. So, as of right now, though, that elf is one of the only things that I can think of that would make me want to get this. Okay, Kiora. All right, we've got Kiora here. Kiora says, untap target permanent. So you can tap this for 3 mana, untap this, tap it for 3 more mana. You could technically use Nissa to turn it into a creature. Then you could tap it again. So you could potentially make like 9 mana off of this in a single turn. If you had a Saheeli, or not a Saheeli, a Kiora and a Nissa on the battlefield. Land of War on 1. Turn 2 Kiora, turn 3 Nissa. Yeah. I mean, you could turn 3, sack your 2 lands to this, tap this, untap this with Kiora. Yeah, you could do all that. That would work. Dang, Teferi untaps this and Sunken Ruin. Right? Alright, so some Teferi untap. This gives you a ton of mana. Wilderness Reclamation. Untapping this lets you have tons of mana. Glass Cannon Mage Mode. Right? There you go. There's a Lands Matters deck forming. Maybe there is. Oh, you guys. Imagine turn 4 Nib Mizzet with this. Yes, because you could turn 3 Kiora. Turn 2 Kiora. If you turn 2 a Kiora, you could turn 3 a Nib Mizzet with this. This and Kiora is probably a little broken. Yeah. Standard zombie hunt. What? Yeah, that's turn 2 Kiora, turn 3 this. Oh no. It enters the battlefield tap. You're not doing that. Yeah. Yeah, it enters the battlefield tap, so you don't get to do all of that. Alright, I thought that you sack 2 lands and then, but you do get to tap those 2 lands and sack 2 tapped lands. Yeah, okay, so maybe it's not that great, but if you get Kiora down, then you get this down. This makes 6 mana. Could it be the next Saheeli Cat Blink combo levels of broken? Maybe. I don't know. Veldar Guardian. That's another thing. Like if we go back, like how far did we go back, right? And if Standard X shows up, how far do we go back, and what cards immediately get banned? Does Veldar Guardian just immediately get banned? I don't know. Skylar, don't get my hopes up. Maybe. All right. It's not the last card, is it? We've got a couple more. All right, Villas Broker of Blood, 8 mana, 8/8. It's a demon. 8 mana, 8/8. The flying 8/8 legendary creature demon. Pay 1 black. Pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn. Man, I gotta pay a black and 2 life to do -1/-1. Yeesh. You should at least let me draw some cards for that. Hold on, he's got more text. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Whoa, hold on, let's go back. So, for 1 mana and 2 life, I get to draw 2 cards and put a -1/-1 counter on something? I'll bite. I'm in. Now, how do I reanimate this thing and get it on the battlefield early? I think we go back to Kaladesh because that was the furthest back set on Arena. I heard that SOI was on, or like that was probably programmed into Arena. I want to say that data mining showed that SOI was, or at least they had placeholders to hold SOI cards. Okay, sorry, not a counter. You're right, Eagle. It's not a -1/-1 counter. It's just -1/-1. You are right. Well, you guys are all over me on this, aren't you? Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. We gotta be correct when we're talking about this. This plus Lich's Mastery. Okay, so Lich's Mastery says I've got to get rid of 2 cards because of loss. I don't know. I don't know if this works with Lich's Mastery because like you're creating this conundrum. Where I've got to get rid of 2 things because I lost 2 life, but I don't know. I don't know if I like this with Lich's Mastery. Drawing cards is good. I like gaining life with Lich's Mastery. The black bond from war gives haste. Bond from war. The black bond from war gives haste. Mono black finisher. If we get Kaladesh and we get Marionette Master back, you and your treasures. You don't need this if you get Marionette Master back. This card, though, you guys got to help me build around this for F&M when it drops. You love some mono black. All right, Skylar. Like, I'm going to be looking for a way to reanimate this, honestly. Like, that's what I want. Just command the Dread Horde with this out and win or lose because you draw your whole deck. I like where you're coming from. You like Doom Whisperer better? Yeah, but Doom Whisperer doesn't say draw those cards, right? Like I'm all about it. I'm all about some Doom Whisperer. I'm all about some Velis like was it Vilis Broker of Blood. Got some cool flavor text though, right? You can sign, or you can spin the rest. You can spend your life imagining what might have been yours. So, sign on the dotted line. Huh? Got an inkwell with some blood. Got a quill right here. Let's go. He's ready to make a deal. He's ready to make a deal. Vilis, Broker of Blood. I think the card's pretty decent anyway. So, is that the last one? Is that the last spoiler for today? Have we gotten anything new? I don't think we have. So, yeah. Spoilers. Command the Leyline of Void. Wait, this and Doom work really well together. They do, but you need the line from Vilis before it's great. Doom will let you scry, but because you lost life, you're going to trigger Vilis first, like because you're paying 2 life to put it on the stack, which will trigger Vilis, which means you will draw first, then you will scry, so you'll be setting up the next set of draws, and then you do it again, and you're drawing, then scrying. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how that would go on the stack, right? Yeah. Bond of Revival, you believe, is the reanimate/haste. Okay. Bond of Revival. I'm not even worried about haste, right? Like, we don't need haste. I just want to get this on the battlefield and, like, spend the rest of my life points filling my hand up with other sweet cards. Card looks pretty good, though. My biggest of the day, though, I'm actually real fond of Nightpack Ambusher. I think this is a fixed version of one of the lords we had a long time ago that didn't really get a lot of play because it just wasn't good enough. I think 4/4 is good enough. Still, Overseer's pretty big, even though it's not going to be... Yeah, Reliquary Tower is in Standard. Still, Overseer is another big one for me, even though it's not going to be huge in Standard right now. we've got more spoilers coming, so there may be some other things that just really make Steel Overseer awesome. But the big one for me is Steel Overseer is going to be around. That's like I'm looking at some of these cards. I'm looking at some of these cards as what do like where do I want to be when Standard X comes out? What do we want to be doing in Standard X? Do we have the parts to do all the things we want to do in Standard X? And I'm seeing this set and I'm going, yeah, we do, and it looks pretty sweet. So I hear my child being put to bed, and he is not happy about it. So yeah, that was today's M20 spoilers. I hope you all enjoyed our spoilers. We will be doing this again tomorrow. I'm just gonna keep doing the spoilers. We'll probably also have another stream at some point tomorrow where we just like play some arena. I want to be in Theros when Standard X comes out. Do I really? Do I really want to be in Theros? I'd much rather be in Innistrad. But fair enough. Dragons of Tarkir. Okay, all right, moving on. Anyway, like can we get fetch lands in Standard X? No. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's going to be our show for tonight. We've got more shows coming up in the next couple days. So don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and we'll keep talking about these spoilers. We'll see what you guys have to think about them, and we'll have some fun doing it. If you didn't get to see the whole show, you got that rewind button here on YouTube Gaming. You can go back, you can look at all the spoilers. You can check them out over on MTG Salvation or Mythic Spoiler. Wherever you want to go for your spoilers, you can do that. Let me know in the comment section if you find out anything about the Termagoyf, right? It's still speculation. We don't really know if Termagoyf's really going to be printed or not. I am really trying to figure out, are we getting Termagoyf in Standard? What does that do? What does that mean? Let me know in the comment sections what you think about it, and especially if you end up with some answers on this. I assume we'll know by like the 25th or something when the entire set's spoiled. Shouldn't be long. Other than that, we do have Wizard-sponsored content coming up in the next few weeks. We've got a couple different shows that are going to be sponsored, so not just the streamer event, but we've got multiple Wizard-sponsored content coming up for Arena. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tier 1 Jank, I'm going to address a question that you personally asked me. You were looking for a way to get into the early access stream. As far as I know, they no longer take applications. You will need to just email Wizards of the Coast or something like that to be able to get in on it. They just send us the emails every month, so I don't know how they do that now. We just get the emails. So Termagoyf in Standard will equate to the end of times of this world. I don't think it will, right? Because you could just cast it down. You can use the 2-mana thing. In Standard X, if they go back to Kaladesh, then we have Fatal Push. Goyf is okay. I don't think that he's... Oh, you're being dramatic? Gotcha. But what's big for me with Goyf is, if Goyf is reprinted, then it means they just do not care about that secondary market whatsoever. The price of Goyfs, who cares? What they do care about is making sure that we have the proper cards in Standard X that we're going to need to have a good Standard X format, to push beyond Modern. And personally, I think Modern's too old anyway. I think these formats should be like 10-year blocks, and then it's like, okay, time to start rotating things out of Modern too. This card's too old. Move on to Legacy, move on to Vintage, whatever. So I think the card pool of Modern's just gotten too big, and if they're reprinting some of these staples for Standard X, I'm all about it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me know in the comments what you think about Termagoyf. Like, subscribe, comment, all the other good things. Patreon, join here on YouTube. Guys, had a lot of fun. Hope you had fun. We'll see you next time.